For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
This is StratNewsGlobal. I'm Amitabh, Revi, and you're watching The Gist. A warm welcome to all our viewers who are joining us live. I can see Harshal Gaur, who's saying good evening to everyone. Savrab One is from Australia, who is also looking forward to this interview. And a warm welcome to all our viewers who will watch this later on our YouTube channel. Our guest tonight is S.P.Vaid. He's been the former Director General of Police in Jammu and Kashmir and joins us from Jammu. Mr. Vaid, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Sorry, just light went off. Generator is being put on.
No problem,
thank you
sir.
for giving me time, and it's a pleasure to be on your channel.
The pleasure's all ours, sir. Just looking at what's been happening over the last few weeks in the Kashmir Valley and the modus operandi of terrorism, targeting Hindus, Sikhs, civilians, and also they're using small arms and then just disappearing after these murders. They also, we hear, are not really on the radar of security forces. India has faced these kind of threats, Mr. Vaid, before. But how dangerous do you see this, especially in the light of what happened in Afghanistan pre-August 15th, when again there was a lot of targeting of civilians, of media, of judges, to create this fear psychosis, Mr. Vaid?
Yes, Amitabh, I absolutely agree with you. In fact, the ISI handlers, whoever handles Jammu and Kashmir, I personally see, my take is this is change in the strategy of ISI, and they have been changing their modus operandi. We have been watching for last 3 decades, right from early 90s till this time. So as per the situation, as the situation develops, they keep changing on their strategy, and I personally see this killing of minority innocent civilians is a change in the strategy of ISI after they having suffered depletion and losses at the leadership of terrorism, at the level of cadres of the terrorists, and facing crunch of larger weapons like AK-47, because replenish them is, I find, my take is they are finding it little difficult. So going for soft targets like minority people, you saw a few days back the famous chemist who was very popular in Kashmir and did not migrate even during peak of terrorism, and in the 90s and last almost 3 decades he continued to stay in Kashmir. Similarly, the teachers were targeted in a school after identifying them as minority, a Sikh lady who was principal and a Hindu from Jammu. And you also saw a Rediwala from Bihar who was targeted.
Yep.
This, I see a change in the strategy in the sense that for executing such killings, you do not need much strength of the terrorists. You need 3-4 groups of 2 terrorists and a small weapon like pistol or a grenade. So that can create a huge impact of scare and terror in Kashmir Valley. So that's what is, I think, change in the strategy of ISI handler.
So how does the security forces evolve to meet this new threat? Because even those apparently who are carrying out these attacks are below the radar. They're not the usual overground workers or people who are associated with the other terrorist groups. So how does the security force tackle this kind of issue? Small arms, you're saying, again, just a pistol. Somebody, Rekha Pai is asking, like in the rest of the West, when can you expect knife attacks in Kashmir?
Yes. See, such attacks are low investment, and high results. See, the kind of panic it has created. But low investment in the sense you don't need huge cadre of terrorist strength. They had depleting numbers now of the terrorist ranks, terrorist leadership. Now, these since these incidents have happened, I'm sure the JNK police, which has been facing this onslaught of cross-border terrorism from across, we have uh, come up to the expectations of the people and the nation, along with the help of Indian Army and the paramilitary. And basically, what is required is pinpointed intelligence, and then uh, operations based on that intelligence. Now, to execute such killings, the ISI needs just a good network of upper ground uh, workers, OGWs, what we call, to identify the target, to identify, for example, Bindru, the chemist, had to be targeted. Somebody identified who is to be killed. Then you need to have a surveillance on them. Then what is the right time to strike at a time when there is no police presence in that area, and how to escape. All these aspects are seen by terrorists. Now, after these have been executed, the challenge to the security forces is to identify these people who have done it, and before they can cause further damage and more killings, they need to be develop a pinpointed intelligence, and based on that, eliminate them and give a setback to the ISI handler, whoever is doing it. So that upper hand is required. I think very soon you will see already JNK police and security forces had success in two cases. One in Bandipur Yusa, who killed that local Muslim who was a Matador Union president, because he was a nationalist, he was pro-India, so he was targeted. Now, the person who executed that killing has been eliminated in a specific, pinpointed, intelligence-based operation. Also, yesterday in Chopin, there was an encounter, and another terrorist who killed the Rediwala of Mr. Paswan from Bihar has also been eliminated. So,
Sure.
the operations like these, pinpointed intelligence-based operations, are required.
I know you served till 2019, but according to open source information, has there been any leakage of, say, American weaponry from Afghanistan to Pakistan to Kashmir as yet? I mean, that's a question that
No,
some of our viewers are also asking.
as per my input, so far, such weapons which were left by American army in the hands of Afghanistan army, which now have landed in the hands of Taliban. But we apprehend that that would happen because ISI has a lot of influence on the Taliban in Afghanistan, and my hunch is they are going to divert these weapons to the hands of terrorists operating in Kashmir, like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. And a lot of their cadres who had assisted Taliban in takeover of Afghanistan are now free, and they apprehension is they could be diverted and brought to the launching pads. And you see the increase in encounters and infiltration attempts in Rajouri, Poonch. 2 days back, we had a infiltration in the DKG area of Poonch, and we unfortunately lost 5 of our brave soldiers. So I apprehend more number of such infiltration attempts and encounters in the coming days. And I think the border forces, our Indian Army, the BSF, and local police and security forces have to be very, very alert in the days and months to come.
It's not just the new modus operandi which we've seen in the past before also, that is small arms using maybe a necessity. They're not getting say the AKs that they normally do and the ammunition. but we've seen drone drops in Jammu and Kashmir as well. So they're using different kinds of technology from across the LOC and the border. How prepared is India to deal with that?
Yes, Amitabh, we had seen this happening in 90s. In fact, incidents like this remind all of us of the early 90s when targeted killings of minority were done, targeted killing of people who were pro-India, whether belonging to different communities, even Muslim community, were targeted and eliminated in early 90s. And because of the minority killings in the early 90s, it led to scare and ultimately the Kashmiri Pandit community migrated from Kashmir to Jammu and other parts of India. Uh, Now, the new phenomena you are mentioning of use of drones to drop AK-47, as we all know, because of successful security forces and J&K police in the valley, a lot of cadres and their leadership were eliminated. So that actually led to shortage of AK-47 rifles and ammunition, because to carry out any terrorist operation, you need continuous replenishment of weapons and ammunition. You need ammunition.
And personnel.
If you are not able to push in weapon and arms, you will not succeed in. So Pakistan was facing this dilemma. So because the LOC and the IB was tightened by Indian Army and BSF, and they were finding it difficult to infiltrate. So the use of drones you saw more in the international border area of Jammu region, whether it is Kathua district, Samba, Jammu, Akhnur, and even Rajouri Poonch. So the use of drones was put in operations to airdrop these weapons and tell their sources to collect from such and such place. So that was for a replenishment of the weapons which terrorists were
Mhm.
facing a crunch.
I'm just taking a 1,000 rupee super sticker from Rao Sahab, who has a political point to make. I'll just come to that. But Devansh Dikshit has a question, Mr. Vaid. I don't know how true it is. Is it true that these terrorists have started using steel case bullets which can penetrate bulletproof jackets? These steel case bullets are used by the Chinese.
Yes, Divansh, for the first time, we saw the steel coated bullets when I was DGP, and there was a suicidal attack on the police district police lines of Pulwama, and we were surprised when we saw the bulletproof vehicle which was being used by police and security forces to undertake the operation to eliminate terrorists who had entered the district police line Pulwama. We found that bulletproof vehicles have been punctured. That is the first time we came to know of this. These are, as per our information, being procured from China by Pakistan and given to these terrorists. And now, ever since 2006, 17, that I think year was 17, if I recall correctly, and 17 onwards, they have been using. But availability of steel coated ammunition is not very in plenty. So they use it very carefully where they want a high effect on the security forces and want to kill and puncture the bulletproof vehicles being used by J&K police and security forces.
Right. Mr. Ved, Salvatore Babones from Australia has put up a super sticker question for Australian dollars 10. He's an author, an academic. He comes on our shows as well pretty often. Is India receiving any practical international support in identifying terrorists and thwarting future attacks?
Yes, our central intelligence agencies are in contact with intelligence agencies of US and other friendly nations, and they do share. In fact, the classical example is Mumbai attack, where the information was shared by are friendly nations with Indian intelligence agencies like Intelligence Bureau and RAW, and we have our central intelligence agencies are in constant touch with uh, their counterparts in friendly countries. So that sharing is taking place.
Again, there is a comment. We discussed it a little bit earlier. Army has said it has anti-drone technologies. How far has that come into deployment? Anything you can share on that, Mr. Vaid?
Yes, I also saw the statement of the army, and I'm sure our scientists are working on it. Uh, um, and we will have appropriate response to um, face this threat of drone, which we saw recently in the international border area of Jammu region. I'm sure both army and BSF and state police forces will be armed with this technology, and we will be able to face it. I have no doubt
Right.
about it.
You alluded to Pakistan's duplicity often. There's a question about the ceasefire. Now, the February ceasefire is by and large holding, except for a few stray incidents. Is that just, in your view, another example of Pakistan's duplicity to try and show the world that there's a ceasefire, but all these so-called deniable actions are taking place?
Yes, Amitabh, ceasefire is holding on. There's no doubt about it. But Pakistan's lies are known all across the world. My take is this is just a ploy by Pakistan, ISI, and Pakistan Army to show to the world that we are very peace loving. We have a ceasefire with India. All these non-state actors are trying to enter, which is all bloody I think just making fool of world. They nothing moves. My understanding is nothing moves on that side of the border without the active connivance of Pakistan Army and ISI. So I have no doubt about it. My 30 years experience tells me I must have interrogated hundreds of terrorists
Mhm.
in my career. Nothing moves. So it is uh, just saying this that non-state actors and tanzeems are doing this. It is not. It's all happening under the umbrella of the ISI handlers who actually pursue these.
Varun Pratap has something that ties into what you're saying, Mr. Vaid. What about the local participation among terrorist groups? Do they still get underground support and overground that you were talking about earlier?
Yes, I would say by and large in Kashmir Valley, people are with these security forces. That's why if you see 95% of the anti-terrorist operations do happen because of the intelligence of the JNK police. And JNK police gets this intelligence from local people. But there are elements in Kashmir Valley who support, who provide logistic support, who provide food, who provide, after all, some place to hide and stay. Otherwise, these terrorist activities cannot continue. But as far as Jammu region is concerned, Rajouri, Poonch, and other areas of Jammu region, people do not support terrorism, and by and large, 100%, I would say, they are with the security forces and the nation.
Right. Again, like you pointed out earlier, there have been encounters, though they seemingly have dropped off since the ceasefire. You can disagree with that if you want. Infiltration, has that changed since February?
Uh, can you repeat? Why are you
I
mentioning
was just saying,
February?
no, the ceasefire, and how the Pakistan Army used to and the
Okay, okay.
Rangers used to support infiltration. Has that
Okay.
changed, that dynamic?
See, dynamics change. I have no knowledge of, but I do see increasing number of immediately after the ceasefire there was calm, but now for last few months it is picking up, and we have seen more infiltration from Rajouri, from Poonch. We had a few weeks back encounter in Rajouri, Kandi area. Then we had now encounter in Poonch. So more attempts are being made for infiltration in this belt. Similarly, we had seen an infiltration attempt of one group, rather two groups, last month from Uri sector. So increasing number of after Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, as I was mentioning, the morale of Pakistan Army and Pakistan ISI and all terrorist organizations across the world, not only Jammu Kashmir and Pakistan, their morale has skyrocketed, and Pakistan ISI and army feels they have defeated two superpowers. So that's why last 1 or 2 months the activity has increased, and the brazenness of terrorists has increased. So I apprehend they will be making more such attempts in future to infiltrate and also engage Indian army and security forces.
And how much, Mr. Vaid, would you say that if we call it Pakistan's deep state desperation in terms of the latest tactics, how much of that is due to political domestic reasons in terms of Article 370 being abrogated and other issues like, almost sidelining the Hurriyat, going after Hawala transactions? How much do you think it's related to that, the security situation?
See, Pakistan, let's make it very clear. Pakistan was taken aback by sudden abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, and they had never expected this. And the turn of events after that, uh, they predicted the whole Kashmir will burn. Some of their people who are on their payrolls did say here that whole Kashmir will burn. Nothing of that sort happened. Law and order was absolutely under control. Then you saw, as far as stone pelting incidents, they have drastically come down to the level of zero incidents of stone pelting. Then the improvement in overall law and order situation, coming down of terrorist ranks, coming down of their leadership, less number of boys joining terrorist ranks. So all this led to overall improvement in situation. The Hurriyat, which was frequently calling for bans and hartals, was actually made to face the law by central agencies like NIA, income tax, CBI. Hawala transactions were checked. So money which was funding terrorism was checked. All these actions on ground actually brought sea change, and then this improved environment, and then we had an announcement of a very good industrial package by government of India. I think one of the best in the country for any state. So a lot of interest was shown by industrialists and businessmen to invest money for industries, for educational institutions, for medical institutions, and all those. And last 2-3 months, we saw revival of the tourism. I think 1 month there was, in the month of July, about 10 lakh plus. In the month of August, it was about 11 lakh plus, and 12 lakh last month. So that shows how much tourism was reviving. Now, all this was leading to um, business activity getting revived, normal activity life getting revived, the internet restoration, everything was reviving. Now, this cannot be digested by people who are sitting across. They found uh, that their whole game plan of disturbing Kashmir is going haywire. So Indian state is succeeding. So it had actually created ripples in the ISI and Pakistan deep state. So that is why they wanted to revive this and change. That's why they brought this change in strategy, because terrorists facing security forces were finding it increasingly difficult, losing their leadership and ranks. So I think a change of strategy was the need of hour for them to project to their population in Pakistan, to the world, that all is not well in Kashmir. And I think they also wanted to convey a message. If you see some of the political leadership in Kashmir, immediately after abrogation of Article 370, floated that the demographic content, the demographic changes will be brought in Kashmir. A Muslim majority character will be changed. Nothing of that sort happened. So the message I think ISI wants to convey, that people from other parts of the country are not welcome, whether industries are they are not actually friend of Kashmiri people. They just want Kashmir to be used as a battleground of their geostrategic game plan.
Again, now, whenever a terrorist group is proscribed, Lashkar-e-Taiba or the Hizbul Mujahideen or the Jamaat, they change their names, they change their bank accounts. Now there's the so-called the resistance front. In terms of the other global transnational terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda in the the Indian subcontinent, AQIS, and the Islamic State in Khorasan province, where a few dozen Indians have gone, how much of a threat do you see those groups posing?
See, you heard the statement of Al Qaeda and also ISIS regarding global jihad and including Kashmir to help their Muslim brothers. So that's all over. That shows their intentions. So um, the global jihad, this lobby will like to disturb not only Kashmir. I think other parts of India also, and that's why I have been requesting everybody that it is time that we uh, uh, we put in place a action plan, the the kind of action plan which France under President uh, President of France, which who came up with an
Yeah.
action plan to counter radicalization, counter.
Legislation, laws, new laws, yeah.
Yes. So something like that is required, I think, in India, because you have hundreds of madrasas running in Kashmir. You have thousands of them running across India. So what President of France, Mr. Macron, did in France, we need to do, I think, in India. Where is the funding coming from to run these madrasas of Jamaat Islami? And whether it is only pure religious Islamic education is being imparted, or are they radicalizing our youth? So somebody needs to have a look on those aspects. And also in Kashmir, the ecosystem which actually nurtures terrorism, we need to dismantle that ecosystem. So all those things are required to face the challenges posed by Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. I think many countries are doing it, whether it is Indonesia, it's Philippines, Malaysia. I think India also needs to think over it.
Mr. S.P.Vaid, the former Director General of Police, Jammu and Kashmir, thank you so much for your time and your experience. And I think we started this interview with the lights going off, and we're doing that again when we end this. But thank you again so much for your time, sir.
Thank you. God bless.
And just a reminder to all our viewers, if you haven't as yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, do that. To spread the word around. Also, that you can get the latest news and analysis, strategic news and analysis, defense, security, intelligence from an Indian perspective on StratNewsGlobal. This is The Gist. I'm Amitabh, Revi.